Welcome to another episode of Faith in Media, our podcast here with Christians in Media. I'm delighted to be joined today with a very special guest, Jenny Lee. Jenny, welcome to Faith in Media. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back at Christians in Media.
I love that you
Appreciate
mentioned it
it.
because this is not your first time here, which is amazing. But we had you on a panel with some other creatives and others involved with film. But it's so good to have you all to ourselves, and it'll give us a chance, I think, to go into a little bit deeper. And many who come across this conversation who've got an interest in film, who are working in film, but also people that are coming from a faith background. It's going to be wonderful to hear someone like yourself who has been around for such an impressive amount of time in this field. It's going to be so inspiring. So thank you so much. Before I get into any kind of major questions about yourself, give us a little intro. Who is Jenny? Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Oh, well, Jenny, if I guess if I'm being my authentic self, I am mostly someone who's really passionate about Jesus and just all the different ways that can be manifested. I have one of those kind of rare left brain, right brain things where I've worked as an actuarial consultant, financial services, and so on, and done some work with some stellar organizations. And I also have this creative side that's really passionate about filmmaking and storytelling and social justice and being able to meld those two together. So I've spent a significant part of my adult life figuring out how those two come together, and they come together best, I think, at the I Will Tell Film Festival. But in a brief nutshell, I guess that's who I am.
Amazing. And I love that you've honed into the I Will Tell Film Festivals. I'm so excited to be talking to you about this incredible work. You're celebrating 18 years of the I Will Tell International Film Festival. Does that sound real for you? Does it feel real for you?
Well,
18
first
years.
of all, I'd like to say I was only 10 when I started. But no, it does not feel real. It's one of those things where it's really an act of obedience, right? That you then develop a real passion for, and you just do it. So year after year, you just do it, and before you look back and it's like, oh, it's been 10 years, and then you look back again as, my goodness, 18 years, the year of maturity, I think, for us, and so it is incredible. I think I've hopefully not forgotten the key pivotal moments, but I've probably forgotten so much of the incredible things that have happened over the past 18 years. But you know what it's like, there's an intangible value in things. So even if I don't have a clear recollection of everything that's happened in the hundreds of screenings we've done and the people that we've met, and it's just been incredible. They've left an intangible mark that I carry with me and that we carry into future years. So where have the 18 years gone? I'm not really sure, but I hope that I carry some of it with me.
That is incredible. And like you say, these are intangible yet eternal deposits that we get a chance to encounter in wonderful moments and events like these that are running. And I can't wait to kind of delve into that a little bit more. But if we were to kind of look back at like the first film festival in comparison to the film festivals you're experiencing of recent, how different are they? Can you tell me about how different they are? I imagine there's been so much involvement over time.
It really has. And, actually, if I think about the first film festival, the thing that I remember is our lovely sister Hilda, who is in heaven now. I'd come back from Mozambique on a mission trip, and I just said, God has told me to start a film festival, so I'm going to do it. And so, we had a little church in Greenwich, and I was all the way, the first film festival was in Mayfair, but kind of a church that would have me for 11 nights at short notice. And I have this video recording of Sister Hilda saying that I took a train and 2 buses to get here, but I really needed to get here to support what you're doing. And it is, I'm so glad we have the recording of it, and it's really stayed with me. And in a sense, through all the evolutions of the film festival, as we've moved into cinemas and some really high-end spaces and have had really iconic people come and speak, I think the heart of it is we hope to create a platform where people think, I may have to move heaven and earth to get there, but I'm going to get there because it's going to be worth it. It's been different and incredible all the way through, but that's what stayed the same throughout the evolution of it. And I guess
That's
if I were to answer your actual question, which is which is how it actually evolved, we started in a little church in Mayfair. We are now in multiple cities. We're in London. We were in Bristol and Birmingham last year. We're in London, Manchester, and Cardiff this year, and in Florida, of course, and we have a charitable screening in Trinidad and Tobago. So the breadth of it has really grown, but also the quality of the films, and my knowledge of film has also grown considerably. So the genres that we do, and including animation and experimental, and including a really high-end jury who really know and have honed their craft and are willing to use it to support filmmakers who are coming up, has been one of the crucial things that have been added to it. But yeah, that thing about drawing people because it's going to be worth it, and Holy Spirit, of course, has been the constant throughout it all.
That is incredible. I'm so glad that you've touched on so much of that, because the way that you've described the evolvement, it's now started out somewhere in some humble beginnings, but I think those are sometimes the best. Those inception moments are just as powerful. And without those, you won't be where you are now, right? We've got multiple cities, international kind of locations. That must be such a wonderful feeling. And how would you feel that as a consequence of the growth of the film festival? How's the audience grown or changed over the years that you found?
I think one of the key things we've figured out is that people are so different, and it sounds so obvious to say, but communities are so different. So our screening in Birmingham was completely different from the screening in Bristol, as London is obviously different from Fort Lauderdale in Florida, and our screening in Manchester is going to be completely different from what we're doing in Cardiff, for instance. So it's about the uniqueness of individuals, but also the uniqueness of the communities that come together, whether it's a particular location or a particular theme or issue or particular passion, or they might just be people who like a good film. It's we've learned that breadth and that depth really comes from the audience. It's not something that we give. We just create the platform, then they come and bring who they are with them. So it's grown obviously in numbers, thank God for that. But it's also grown in just the richness of the tapestry of individuality that we have, who are people who are part of I Will Tell, and it's growing still, and we're learning still. Just understanding who our audience is so important to me. And I know I'm talking a lot, but that's without them, no festival will happen, right? We have incredible people. There's I keep talking. You can tell I'm getting old because I'm being really nostalgic today. But you can. There's one young lady who I hope I see her this year, who literally every year takes holiday for the full 11 nights of the festival, and she's there for every screening, even if she has to run from one venue to another to make sure she catches them all. Absolutely phenomenal. So we love audience like that, and then we have people who just dip in and think, "Wow, this is incredible. I'll come next year," or "Gosh, this has really touched me. I've been healed in some way. I've been encouraged in some way, and I've been kind of catalyzed into doing something different in some way." So they're so different in the way that people come to the festival, and I apologize for rambling on and on about
Not
that,
at
but
all. This is
yeah,
great.
it's just I haven't got to the bottom of it. I think that's the short answer, and I never will, because you can't do. We're human beings, right? And so we're still learning and growing, and it's a wonderful experience, actually.
I think for me, what sounds so wonderful is that you have had this opportunity to share this with clearly such a wide spread of people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, and experiences, and how this is impacting people in such a wide and again diverse way. And I think that leads on really well into my next question. How do you feel that the festival has kind of played such a role within local or global film communities?
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, there were several years ago now. I remember getting an invitation, a kind of not quite VIP, but complimentary tickets to the a pass to the London Film Festival, because and the person who gave it to me said, "We just recognise that you're making such a significant difference in London with what you do," and that was really special to be
Amazing.
recognised by the who's who of independent film industry in the UK as making a difference to the filmmaking
Mm-hmm.
community. We have had films that have gone on to do to be nominated for, to win BAFTAs and Oscars,
Wow.
and filmmakers who've gone on to do incredible things. We've had people like Lashana James, who everybody knows now. Sorry, Lily James. And
Two separate
we all know
ladies.
Lashana. Let's put them together. I actually met
Yeah.
them both together. I always put them together. It's terrible. So we've had incredible people like that who, who've been through our doors. And it's not that we were necessarily the launching pad, but we do create that space where people can meet and collaborate. And we have really high end filmmakers meeting with filmmakers who are just starting out, or even people who are just thinking about it, and the
Mm,
opportunities that that gives and the doors it opens. It's
it is.
incredible. So to sit back and watch what some people have done from the first time we've met them to now is really incredible.
That's amazing. And that cannot be an easy feat. You have created a funnel of incredible talent and creativity coming through your doors as a result of just having this festival in existence for so long. That must have come with some challenges as well. What kind of things have you encountered along the way? You've given us such great report, and you've had feedback about how successful the film festival is, not only in its existence and its long-standing kind of running, but also who it's impacted in terms of community, those in the business. But that's got to come with some challenge. What kind of challenges have you kind of experienced in this process of continuing enduring this wonderful thing?
Yeah, I mean, it has been incredibly challenging, right? And every year coming up to the film festival, I'm like, "Whew, why am I doing this again?" And then as soon as it's done, I'm like, "Oh, thank God, but I want to start again. Let's get started the next year." But there, a lot of it is logistical. I really feel that I've been given a gift, really, because
Mm,
in some ways, when you've been gifted with something, it's easy. So a lot of the incredible things that come out of the film festival really have nothing to do with me. I just really create the platform. These people come and create the magic, right? But the logistics are challenging. Funding for any film festival is hard. For a festival that has a Christian ethos kind of
mm,
unashamedly at its heart, it can actually be a little bit harder
mm,
sometimes. But on the other hand, God just has incredible ways of providing what we need when we need it, just to make things happen. And so the logistics is challenging. I really wish I could reward my team better. I have an incredible team of people who know much better about what they do than I do, and have a passion and heart for the project, that is humbling, really. And I wish I could, do a bit more of that, and that is challenging for me to not be able to do more of that. I wish I could put up filmmakers in even
mm,
a decent place, doesn't have to be posh, kind of thing,
mm,
and create more opportunities for them to be here together and be with each other, rather than just the ones who can afford to make it. And
mm.
still they do, like Sister Hilda, they find their way to the festival and they make it. So that is very challenging. But the beauty of having incredible people, whether it's in the team or in the filmmakers or the people who attend, and the presence of Holy Spirit just
Mm.
making everything so beautiful, makes it worthwhile. And it
I
really,
think
really does. Yeah.
I think your heart posture towards it and your heart's desire to honor people is really, really encouraging. And I think it's clear that you have led with that. That's been your desire in everything. It's lifting up a platform for so many others to come forward for their art to be seen. And then also, more than anything, God is glorified through the work of what people are bringing through their
Yeah.
films. And your heart also honor them, even at this stage. This is only probably one step on their journey, and you
Mm.
recognize how crucial that is and also how much of a privilege that is. So hearing your heart of honor is probably one of the main reasons why it's been going for 18 years, regardless of these very tough challenges, which I can't imagine how that must feel every single time to go through that. Many would have dropped out, I think,
Mm.
much further back on in the race, and here you are still going strong. So that is just really, really encouraging to hear that. I'd
Thank
love
you.
to talk a bit more about how this year's film festival is coming along. What has been some of the kind of trends that have kind of emerged in the films that have been kind of applied this year?
Yeah, well, this year, the emerging trend even has been the power of authenticity,
Oh,
and
love it.
I love authenticity, and we always strive for that, right? But
Mm,
it's been really wonderful. Like our opening gala is a perfect example of this. So it started off as an event. It's just these filmmakers who got people from the community of Wythenshawe, which is the
mm,
largest council estate in the whole of Europe, actually, and people from very different walks of life, and some who would never have the opportunity to make a film or to or to be at a premiere, that kind of thing. And we just wanted to do this to bless the people of Wythenshawe. We wanted to, again, honor. We wanted them to understand how much they loved and understand the kings and queens that they are,
mm,
truly. And so we wanted to give them as great an event as we possibly can. And it's just mushroomed into something so beautiful.
mm,
And
mm.
we're at the Concord Hangar, which thanks to Manchester Airport for that. And we're going to have a great big red carpet, gossiping of that. But that is a really good example of what the entire year is. It's these beautiful, simple, authentic stories, the kind of deep calling onto deep. But there's something so much more powerful happening alongside that. And sometimes we
Mm.
recognize it at the time, or we recognize it later. But that's how we are going to start. And then we've just got some incredible films. We've got some short films, as well as some documentaries. We've got a documentary called Bearing Witness, with journalists from the globe who've been all around the world telling their incredible stories
Wow.
and the stories of some of the people that they've met. We've got a short film on, I know this is a Christian podcast, so maybe I shouldn't talk about that one now. I'll tell you anyway. It's a very cute animation of a girl trying just anything to get rid of that monthly pain. And
Oh,
so she tries some CBD but gets the dosage wrong. And so that's really quite funny. So we have kind of light-hearted, fun pieces like that. We also have the more significant, serious pieces. We've got a wonderful film with the lead actor being autistic and actually
wow.
turning his condition into a superhero type quality that he uses to make changes. And that's really fantastic to have.
Mm.
And we've got so many. We've got nearly 30 films from all around the world touching on so many different things. But yeah, those are probably some of the highlights there. There's also a wonderful documentary on the human condition in
Mm.
Palestine, because
Mm.
sometimes, I guess, and within the Christian community, we can get into the kind of Palestine Israel kind of argument without recognizing the human cost. So I love this film because it involves both Palestinians and Israelis talking about the impact on ordinary people,
Mm.
and the resilience of the people and so on. So that's really beautiful and well made documentary. So it's really quite wide and varied. So
That's incredible. How do you go about making your selections if you're having so many of these submissions, which that's got to be tough? How do you decide who's going forward and who's not?
it is. I don't want to say this publicly, but sometimes I use the cry test. If it makes me cry, it's in. No, it's not entirely how we decide. But no, we do have a jury of really kind of well established filmmakers, much more so than I am. I'm really just an amateur filmmaker. I'm a festival director predominantly, and we put out our call for entering. We do get lots of submissions, and it's really just going through. We have a few criteria. We would have a theme for the year, and also we have the theme of I Will Tell, which is celebrating an untold story that challenges our perspectives and catalyzing change. So we're looking for stories that are telling us something different, or that are telling us something familiar from a very different perspective. And it's something that would, challenge people to be or to do differently in some way. We're looking for the technical merit of the film. We're looking for the script, and how well it's done. We look for the music and the cinematography and so on. But at the heart of it all, we choose what we think are the best stories, because they're well told and they will have impact, and that kind of deep calling onto deep phenomenon.
That makes sense, and I love that you say that. It's just like how are we authentically presenting, or shining light on areas that sometimes we just may take for granted, or we don't have the opportunity to see, or have exposure to. And that really is the gift of what film can do. So that must be an exciting but very difficult process. So I don't envy you in the jury there. I'd find it very difficult to say yes or no, as I imagine they bring so much value in their own right per film.
Yeah, it's really difficult to say no to some films. And there are some films that are just so well done, but don't quite hit the ethos of who we are. But they're so well done, you want to reward them for just doing a really good job. And then there are some films that, oh my gosh, it's a really great story, but not well enough executed, and you really want to reward them for tackling a tough subject. But yeah, you just kind of have to make those tough decisions. And the toughest decision actually is deciding who wins, and that I stay out of, because it's way too difficult. I'm happy to give a final kind of stamp of approval on the films in the festival, but choosing who wins is beyond me.
That is a tough call. I see how that tension would be really tough to engage with, for sure. How do you feel that kind of the festival has kind of fostered relationships with filmmakers, sponsors, and local communities? This is an ongoing event, 18 years. How have you seen that kind of evolve over time?
So you're asking about fostering relationship between filmmakers, the community,
there's
and
a
potential
network that
sponsors.
you now have a network that you have actors, you have filmmakers, you've got people that want to get involved with sponsorship or funding boards. How do you find this is kind of growing and evolving over time?
Yeah, I will confess, I think that part of the festival has been growing way too slowly, particularly kind of getting sponsors who are connecting in. We do have people who might be interested in sponsoring a particular film rather than the platform of the film festival, and that is helpful. But if I were to be completely honest, we are creating more opportunities for that to happen. It has been a little bit slow. We have connections in terms of people meeting much more high profile filmmakers and so on. But perhaps it would just be a call for more sponsors to come on board and to meet these
Absolutely.
delightful filmmakers and to support them on their journey and to keep the film festival going. But yes, that's the honest answer.
And I appreciate that. And I think this is such a great opportunity. Again, your authenticity and honesty in this process is really, again, admirable. I think it does nothing but continue further just how worthy this work is of our attention, because trying to continue keeping something going for as long as you have, and those types of challenges are easy. These are the kind of determining moments that kind of enable events like yours to take place. And yet miraculously, clearly it has its purpose that it's existing so long, but we need people to step up. We need people to sponsor us for really good pieces that influence communities, influence further aspiring filmmakers, or those wanting to get into this kind of industry in a way that is positive. And there's space there, but we do need to play our part to ensure that it's going to impact another generation that also is going to be full of talent but needs a platform. So a huge call out, absolutely unashamed. If this is of interest, make sure you get in touch with Jenny, for sure. And kind of looking forward, I think that really kind of leans in quite well into where I'd like to kind of ask you next is, what are your aspirations for the film festival's future?
Yeah, well, I think touching on that thing about audiences and understanding different audiences and different locations and in different kind of streams, we're really looking to go wider and deeper. And I'll say this: we were in Birmingham, Bristol last year. We're Manchester, Cardiff this year. Our vision for the UK is to go to the 10 core cities that are outside London. And these are regions that have a little bit of structure already, some more than others. But within them, there are still strong unreached communities and underserved communities and underrepresented communities. So we want to take the festival to each of these communities and develop that wonderful diversity of the experience within each of them. We also, of course, are in Florida, and we're looking to build the festival in Florida so that it can reach much bigger communities and have stronger screenings and so on. We have the charitable screening in Trinidad and Tobago. We've had people invite us from a few other countries that we are considering, kind of Germany and South Africa and other spaces. And we would love to see that, because I believe that the vision God gave me is that it would be truly global. And we are truly going to connect with different communities around the world and get these stories told and get them shown to very different communities. But at the heart, we can all connect to that human experience and just bring us a little bit closer together. And most of all, help us to know that whatever our situation and whatever community we're in, we are truly, deeply and madly loved. And telling our stories is one way of demonstrating that. So, yeah.
Jenny, this has been just so inspiring. And I guess the best thing to do now is really just tell us, if you can, dates of the film festival, the locations for this year, and how people can get involved if they'd like to volunteer and support it in any way. That would be
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you for that. So the festival runs from the 13th to the 30th of September. We open at Manchester at the Concord Hangar on the 13th of September. And then we have a little bit of a gap where people can catch up on lots of the films online. Our main set of screenings and our awards ceremony will happen in London, and that's at the Ealing Project, a wonderful kind of community-focused venue, cinema, and event space. And so most of the screenings will happen between the 26th and the 28th. We have an awards ceremony on the 29th. And we're also finalizing the dates for screening in Cardiff at Chapter Cinema, as well as a special screening at the BFI IMAX. So all the details are on iwilltell.com, so people can kind of check that out and also sign up to our newsletter to be updated. So as soon as more tickets are released, we can let them know. But yeah, we hope people can join us either in person or online. All the festival, all the films, even all of the festival, including the red carpet experience, is going to be online, and people can participate in that. And we're really keen on making the online experience as fun and as interactive and as present as we possibly can. And so, yeah, just great films, great people, a great experience. Come on down and join the fun and make it even greater.
That is incredible. Thank you so much, Jenny. I look forward to being there myself. And
Yeah.
as you've heard, make sure that you get your tickets. This is more than just a film festival. Hearing Jenny's story and just the involvement of this incredible platform that's been raised and the why behind it has been super inspirational. If this is something that's resonating with you, do not hesitate. Come and join us for any one of the locations throughout the festival. It'll be wonderful to see you there. Jenny, thank you so much. Wishing you all the best here from us at Faith in Media. And I look forward to seeing you at the I Will Tell Film Festival for the 18th occasion.
Absolutely. And we're really looking forward to having you join us with your expertise and that beautiful smile and hair. But thank you, Carla. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Jenny. Take care then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Faith in Media with Carla Odebekin. Make sure you catch our episodes and hit subscribe. Please share and leave us a comment. Christians in Media is a UK charity that supports, encourages, and inspires Christians from across the ever-changing media landscape. Find out more at www.christiansinmedia.co.uk and connect with us via our socials.